I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Hey everybody, welcome to another very special edition of Tales from Godric's Hollow. This is yet another Muggle theory. This is actually the 7th theory in the Muggle theory series. Whew! Say that 5 times fast. I am, of course, the voice of the Muggle himself. I am Josh Brown. I am not joined by my normal co-host, Matt Sonnenberg. As always, this is me doing a show solo for you guys to lay out a specific theory of mine based on last week's reading. Again, this is the 7th theory. We have just now started Book 5, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. We have only read 2 chapters, and already there is enough mystery for me to formulate a very, very interesting theory, I think. I'm starting to wonder if Professor Matt Sonnenberg himself is cutting off chapters deliberately to force my hand into coming up with theories, leaving mysteries on the table. I feel like he's planning this out far more than I give him credit for. Regardless of what he's doing or what kind of shady business is going on backstage, here I am to talk about this week's theory. This is going to be, of course, about the Howler that was sent to Aunt Petunia at the end of the 2nd chapter. Everybody wrote in emails wondering who I thought was the sender of the Howler to Aunt Petunia. People wanted to know what was the Muggle thinking. What's Josh thinking over there? Who could he possibly think is responsible for this thing? Well, folks, I have some theories. I have narrowed my list down to 3.5 suspects. First suspect is somebody that we know sends howlers on a regular basis. She is quite familiar with the process, and I this is where the 0.5 comes in, because I think her husband, there's a chance that he could be responsible as well. Of course, I'm talking about the Weasleys. The Weasleys are very, very well adept to sending these howlers, these screamograms. Definitely, it's a Mrs. Weasley thing. I don't think of Mr. Weasley sending a howler per se, especially to a Muggle. I feel like he would be a lot more cautious with something like that. But I don't know. I think the Weasleys, we know that the Weasleys know the Dursleys. At least Mr. Weasley knows the Dursleys. I can't recall Mrs. Weasley's definitely met them? I'm confused. I can't even remember who's met who anymore. What I'm saying is, it wouldn't be completely out of the ordinary for them to have contact. So they're on my list as suspects. I lean more towards Mrs. Weasley, but the Weasley duo of parents, I feel, are suspects together in some way. Second suspect, Sirius Black. Okay. For the life of me, I cannot remember whether or not Aunt Petunia knew anything about Sirius Black before. Now, she knew that he was, from watching the news, that he was a murderer and wanted and a bad dude, blah, 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 blah. But I can't, for the life of me, remember if they had ever talked about whether or not she knew him or knew of him. I feel like yes, but maybe I'm just making up in my head. Regardless, Sirius Black, we know, is definitely somebody who is going to extreme lengths to protect Harry Potter. So sending this message to Aunt Petunia to, basically just beg and demand that she keep Harry Potter at the house to keep him safe is something that he would definitely do. I think it would definitely be more effective if she knew who it was from and she understood that connection, like it wasn't just a stranger. But I could definitely see Sirius Black doing that. Like, I don't know if he's the kind of guy that sends howlers, but that definitely gets the message across. So in this circumstance, I could see it happening. But is he the main suspect? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. The third suspect that I have here is kind of a wild card, and this is only a wild card because I don't know of any direct connection at all in any way, shape, or form. But I just feel like there's someone helping Dumbledore look after Harry Potter in fantastic ways, who might actually have a connection with the Dursleys that we aren't aware of yet. This person I'm talking about is Professor McGonagall. I don't know if she'd be the kind to send a howler also. I don't know if she would be involved in this whole thing. I don't know if she would be sending one to a Muggle like Aunt Petunia. I don't know, but there's something about that woman that I just... we've gotten 4 books, like, we've gotten to know her, but she still hasn't kind of stepped into that super important role yet that we need her to be. She kind of showed it at the end of the 4th book, being right by Dumbledore's side with Snape. But she hasn't, like, stepped up to the plate yet, in full force. And I think this would be, like, her finally just doing whatever was necessary to help Dumbledore ensure that Harry Potter was safe and sound. So she's my wild card pick. I could cut it off there and just say, those are my suspects, those are who I think it could be, those are the reasons why, and just walk away. And, if I turn out to be right with one of those 4 people, then I could celebrate and I could do a victory dance and brag a little bit about this, but I don't think you guys would be super satisfied with that. I feel like that's taking the easy way out of just laying out a whole bunch of people and saying, all these people are suspects. Hope I get one of them right. No, I'm going to go completely out on the line here, and I'm going to narrow it down to one solid suspect. Now, I really kind of think it's Mrs. Weasley, only because we know that she sends howlers all the time. Like, that's like the giveaway. Like, that's the Mrs. Weasley calling card of sorts. But I think that's also trying to throw me off here. Like, I think that's who JK wants us to immediately think of. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to go and lean heavily on my wild card pick, Professor McGonagall, as being the one who sent the howler to Aunt Petunia to tell her to keep Harry Potter in the house, not to kick him out, which is great, but I also think this is going to set up some sort of storyline with Professor McGonagall and Aunt Petunia. They have a connection. I feel it in my gut that they know each other in some way, shape, or form, and we are going to get all that information in this book, if not shortly. So though that Professor McGonagall is the sender of the howler, if I'm right, whoo boy, oh boy, it's going to be one exciting show next week on episode 52. But if I'm wrong, I went on a limb. I took a swing and I struck out. But that's what happens when you're the Muggle. More often than not. But you know what? We only celebrate the victories. So thank you all for listening to Muggle Theories episode 7. As I said before, please be on the lookout for episode 52, We cover Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix chapters 3 through 5. That will be posted up next week, of course. You can find me on Twitter personally at The Noise. You can find Matt on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tales from GH. You can follow our Instagram account, Tales from Godric's Hollow. Our website with the reading schedule and everything that you need to know about the show is over at talesfromgodricshollow.com. If you'd like to send in an email directly to Matt without my eyes ever laying on it at all, talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com. And if you're listening to this early on Patreon, thank you all for supporting us on Patreon. Everything that you do for us means the world, and it allows us to do so many amazing things, like all the giveaways. So congratulations for listening to this early. If you're listening to it on the normal iTunes feed after it posts, and you didn't get it early, for future reference, you could do so by supporting us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. That being said, I'm going to go enjoy a weekend, get ready for the next assigned reading, and we will be recording Monday night as always. Until then, Muggle out.
Mischief managed.